Oh yes, hi, hello. So this is the intro of the video because fun fact, this was supposed to be part of the last upload. I had full intentions of it just being one mega long video, but I wasn't able to finish it in time. So hello, this is me finishing the video now, doing an intro, pretty self-explanatory. But with that being said, I do hope you enjoy the video and see you on the other side. I'm supposed to have a hat. I don't know why the hat didn't come in. But we ball. Okay, season 3. So, season 3, I'm not gonna lie, she's not my favorite season of the bunch. She honestly kind of feels like a rinse and repeat of season 2, but just with like neon lights and fun music. Like, I love the aesthetic of this season, but just like the plot, the arcs, like, it's just not my favorite. But we open up to the summer of 84 and find out that the Russians are actually a huge threat. Who would have known it wasn't any of this like Red Scare nonsense? None of that shenanigans. Like they're here. And they've actually gotten their hands on enough power to start opening up a gate right in Hawkins underneath the shiny new toy that is
Starcourt Mall.
Our story takes place in the summer of 85. And babes, these kids are grown up. And we know that because Mike and Elle are making out in her room consistently and annoyingly all the time.
Don't look at the dogs, work the lock. Work the lock, work the lock. Don't.
I have never agreed with a man more in my life. Like us opening up to that being the first scene, I feel like I am watching my little cousins make out or something. You know, like, oh, some things you just shouldn't see. All the kids are growing up though and feeling love for the first time. We have Mike and Elle, Lucas and Max, Dustin and his alleged girlfriend Susie, who he met at summer camp.
One sec. No, she's still there. Susie.
Right. And of course, Will's love of life, Dungeons and Dragons.
I have seen into the future, and I've seen that today is a new day.
It's so unfortunate because we really, truly see him be the 3rd, 4th, and 5th wheel throughout this season. And my man just wants to live some of the youth that got stolen away and enjoy the summer and not be surrounded by boys being obsessed with girls. And this kind of causes tension, but we'll get to that shortly. Meanwhile, while a lot of the kids are becoming mall rats and enjoying the labors of capitalism, many families are enjoying the community pool, where the adults can relax for a while. The kids can be kids and enjoy the reflection of the sun in their face and not now's generation, the reflection of an iPad. And of course, we cannot forget the horned up, hating, married life women who sit at the side of the pool and wait for Billy's shirt to come off so they can get some eye candy.
And showtime.
Now, me personally, I get the humor of this shot. You know, I get... But again, like freshly 18 with adult women, like if I have to whack Murray, I gotta whack these women as well, you know? We gotta keep it even. But truthfully, this is what causes the root of the issue in this season. Karen Wheeler. Yes, I said it. Mrs. Wheeler starts the conflict of this season because once again, Ted is useless and is not cracking her back like a glow stick. Stay with me, okay? After Billy's hot entrance into the pool area and saying this,
Hey, Lourdes!
honestly, a great scene in my book. He hits on Mrs. Wheeler and they flirtatiously agree to meet at a motel later in the night to practice different strokes. Swimming strokes, people. Ew, get your mind out of the gutter. And Mrs. Wheeler is going through the plan. Girl, she puts on the makeup, she does the hair, she takes off the wedding ring, does all that just to head downstairs and stop because she sees Ted and Holly sleeping on the couch. And she's like, girl, I don't think you can do that to your family. Even though Ted kind of sucks and he doesn't really provide anything fun and he doesn't do anything except sleep and make little snide remarks and put his nose up the asses of the government. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, I can't cheat on my family. So she doesn't leave the house, but I don't think she has Billy's number. So she can't really call him up and be like, hey boo, actually, just kidding, the affair is no longer about to happen. So he heads off to the motel and gets an unexpected surprise. Something hits his windshield and he swerves off the road and crashes his car. He gets out to inspect the vehicle and finds a goo attached to the broken windshield, which is scary because it's goo that he's not familiar with. Ew. We see though someone attack Billy and drag him down to the bottom of the stairs in an abandoned warehouse. He is transported to what we know of the Upside Down, where he sees an army of people approaching him, and we see someone very, very familiar. Himself. He is face to face with the knowledge that something has gone terribly wrong. And terribly wrong indeed, because, hi Billy, whether you like it or not, you are now the leader of this army in the upside right. But with that being said, things have not gone too wrong because he still shows up at his shift the next day. Could not be me. He spares Mrs. Wheeler's life and gets in his chair for a duty while basically actively fighting to stay conscious and to play the part of Billy. But honestly, this is what everyone looks like walking into work on a Monday morning, so he is not special. Okay. Speaking of jobs and hating life, we check in with Steve and see that he is now working at the mall at a place called Scoops Ahoy, where he can see all of his little children friends that his coworker Robin so kindly points out. And she's right, to be honest. Like, how do you have no friends your age? Like, not one? I mean, I'm happy we got rid of the losers back in season 1, but you're supposed to be Steve the Hair Harrington. Like, what? You couldn't make one more friend? You had that reputation while saying this to girls?
Ahoy, ladies! I didn't see you there. Would you guys like to set sail on this ocean of flavor with me? I'll be your captain.
Oh, God.
Can I?
You know what, though? I hate to say it. I hate to say it. If I stuck around long enough, it might work on me. I like a guy that's a little bit loser. What can I say? Meanwhile, Joyce is still working at her convenience store where Hop seems to go in almost every day to talk to her. Looks like the kids aren't the only one that got hit by the love bug. They decide to go on a date at Enzo's and Hop is buzzing. Like, he's sprinting around like how I would when I get the notification that a certain world leader has died. Anyway, while at work, Joyce finds the magnets that they are selling to keep falling down and down no matter what she does. And funny enough, this is what's happening at her house too. She gets super concerned and her instincts are going off. And she knows immediately something is not right. So she ends up going to our favorite science teacher's house. To ask what could be the problem. And he tells her that it would be a gigantic magnet redirecting the energy to make the magnets fall. AKA, a gate has opened up. Which, keep up, Joyce, we knew this 3 episodes ago. But in the quest of knowledge, Joyce accidentally stands up Hopper. God, and Hopper, man, he is crushed. While Joyce is discovering that the gates exist, the Scoops troop, aka Steve, Robin, and Dustin, find a secret Russian code that shows them where the base is located and hire Erica to join them on their mission to stop the evil Russians.
Don't you love your country?
You can't spell America without Erica.
I love that little diva. Oh my god. They do successfully enter the base. Unbelievably, actually. You're telling me not one person spotted them when they were moving like that? I'm gonna say all that, but unfortunately, they do end up getting caught. Robin and Steve get tied up and tortured. And when I say they get tortured, I mean Steve. Bud, 3 for 3. We'll get him next season. You will make it out unscathed. And they do eventually get injected with the truth serum in hopes that they will spill secrets that will aid the Russians in their journey. Meanwhile, Dustin and Erica hatch a plan to try and save them, which they do. However, that truth serum, she does last, okay?
That mom was trying to bang her son.
Wait, the hot.
But they are so high to the point that we get the greatest scene to ever exist, in my humble opinion. Until season 4. Throughout the season, they kind of play off of the energy that Steve and Robin have, and they really straight bait you, and they make you believe that they are going to get together, that they just have all this insane chemistry, and everyone sees it. You see it, I see it, Dustin sees it, because he should be with somebody that knows. He is not Steve the Hair Harrington anymore, okay? He's grown, he's changed, and he needs somebody that accepts him for that. He has all these little quirks, and Robin knows it, and still wants to be around him. And hey, in Steve's book, that's a huge win. So towards the end of the truth serum winding down, it's still in there, just a little bit, but it's winding down. Steve has the courage. He, very coolly actually, goes into the next stall to sit with Robin and confess and be like, hey, you know, I thought I was looking for somebody that didn't exist, but it turns out maybe that person was right here in front of me. And Robin basically is like, that's nice. So when I was talking to you earlier about like watching you in class and just staring at you, it wasn't because I liked you. It was because the girl that was staring at you, I wanted her to stare at me.
Tammy Thompson's a girl.
Steve.
Plot twist, face to face with I am gay. And I'm not gonna lie, we have made tremendous strides with Steve's character. But it is the 80s. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little afraid of his answer. But you know what he says? Do you know what he says?
Tammy Thompson, you know, she's cute and all, but I mean,
She's a total dud.
I love Robin that she said what she said and now she can live her truth. And I love Steve for being like, you know what, I'm such an ally that I'm not judging you for being gay, I'm judging you for your choices. How the hell do you like Tammy Dobson? She sounds like a Muppet. You could do better.
Exactly.
No, this scene truly is a highlight of the season. Honestly, if you plan on rewatching the season, I really feel like you can skip a lot of it, but just watch that. But more important than the Russian spies and the gay agenda, we got some love drama going on. Lucas and Max are respectively taking care of Mike and Elle during their spat because, girl, long story short, Hop told Mike to stay away. Mike tried doing that because he was scared of him, made a lie to do so, got caught in the lie, and then Elle famously says,
"I dump your ass."
Me personally, this whole storyline, it felt a little too in the face. It didn't feel like it was just naturally happening with everything else going on like other seasons have, but I digress, whatever. But it does give us Max and Elle hanging out and just having girl time and fun montages, so I'm grateful for that. Which, speaking of, while they are hanging out, they decide that they're going to spy on Billy and find out what he's been up to. And spoiler alert, it's not good. They discover something's wrong, and it leads them to figuring out the Mind Flayer is back once they hook up with the boy group once again. But don't think the boys are getting out of this unscathed. Oh, no, no, no. Like I mentioned earlier, Will is over the shenanigans. Will is over the bullshit. You have heard the crash of 08. Have you heard of the crash out of 85? And not only that, we did get this scene that I think people have forgotten about, if I'm being honest.
It's not my fault you don't like girls.
And some people want to say Will is not gay. Yeah, that's why back in season 2, Joyce was talking about Will and his rainbow ship.
And you drew this big spaceship. It was your spaceship. A rainbow ship. That's what you called it.
Yeah. Color me surprised. Anyway, at this point, we have basically 3 storylines going on. The Russian plotline, which consists of Hop, Joy, Murray, and newcomer Alexei, who is Russian propaganda. He's a scientist they basically hold hostage and feed him Slurpees to get information. Then we have the Scoops troop, which, as we discussed, is Robin, Erica, Steve, and Dustin. Why'd I forget? Hello? And then we have the Hawkins crew, which is the rest of the kiddos and Nancy and Jonathan, who throughout the season have been slaving away at their internship with the most misogynistic men ever.
Because I'm not sure she'll fit above the fold.
The mysterious case of the missing fertilizer, a Nancy Drew mystery.
Careful, it might have rabies.
I will say it was a highlight for me when these men get got by Billy and become part of his army, which is, you know, funny and ironic, them becoming part of the hive mind considering they never had an individual thought ever in their life. Isn't that something? Long story short, because damn, I did not think I was going to talk about this season this long. The Mind Flayer is back and created an army to come and get 11. After the sauna test of trying to heat out the Beast and Billy, kind of like what they did with Will, the battle at Hopper's cabin, it takes us to the final battle at the Star Court Mall with the recreation of the Mind Flayer out of all the body parts of the people Billy captured. But wait, remember Alexei's ass? Oh, I hope you didn't get too attached. He dies at a 4th of July party by a Russian assassin. I repeat, Alexei gets shot by a guy walking around with a gun and silencer in America at a 4th of July party. Do I make the joke or do you? Okay, wait. Speaking of joke though, I love the scene of Dustin and Susie. Because guess what? She actually is real. Them singing Never Ending Story into the walkie-talkies while everyone is just waiting to get the information that Susie knows because she's a brainiac. And we have like the Mind Flayer or the Mind Flay just like running in the background. Oh, that's camp. That's camp. If you don't get it, you don't get camp. That's camp. But yeah, the crew fights back the monster with a bunch of fireworks and all their might because unfortunately, 11 has lost her powers. 11 talks to Billy and uses his memories of his mother to tap into Billy and get past the possession of the monster. Again, kind of like what we saw in season 2. He fights back and essentially sacrifices himself to save 11. Now, with that being said, he's still a terrible person. Don't get it twisted. Meanwhile, Hop and Joyce sneak into the lab and shut the gate, therefore killing the Mind Flayer and everyone under their control, and unfortunately, Hop. Maybe? I don't know. You know what they say. If you don't see the body, they're not really dead. So we'll check in later. 4 months later, and we see that the Byers and newly adopted daughter 11 are moving away and going to California. Joyce, like, I don't mean to pocket watch, but how the hell are you affording that? We then get the most devastating letter to 11 from Hop, which essentially serve as his last words to her.
Keep the door open 3 inches.
Robin and Steve get a new job at the video rental store, and the mayor is arrested because he essentially let the Russians do whatever the hell they wanted for some money. Glad our government isn't that corrupt in real life. But wait, whoa, there's an epilogue? That shows Hop is alive and in Russia. And they still have stuff from the Upside Down. Oh, damn. Okay, but also, how the hell did he survive? I'm genuinely asking, because we see in the beginning a guy literally pretty much in the same position get blasted and turns into Thanodust, and yet Hop is alive. And like, I know they explained it in season 4, but whatever. I'm not in charge of $1 billion franchise, so whatever. What do I know? I do know though, that's the end of season 3, and baby, oh, buckle up for season 4. We'll see how long this actually stays in my hand, because this season opens up with a summary of the Byers' life in California so far. Joyce has a new job selling encyclopedias over the phone, which is so crazy to hear because I remember owning a set of those giant encyclopedias. My mom was so proud to have them. Oh, it's something that's so obsolete now. Like, what? But she sells the encyclopedias over the phone. And she really loves it. Jonathan has transformed into his final form and is a chronic smoker, with the only friend that he has made in California, Argyle. Will seems pretty good. He's updated his art supplies. We went from crayons to paints, and we're working on a top secret painting that we can't know about yet, but 11, she believes, you know, with maybe some of the things he says or the way he's acting, that he has a crush on someone. Oh, I wonder who the lucky girl, right, yes. And for 11, or should I say Jane, she claims that she is doing great in school and has a ton of friends and is living the California dream. But in reality, it has never been worse for us. Our bully Angela is actually Satan reincarnated. The devil is a teenage girl, and she's blonde and about 5'4".
Holy shit! What the hell?
God, that's so embarrassing. I can't even defend her. Over in Hawkins, we have the Robin and Steve duo going strong. You know, they have these nice, beautiful morning car rides where Steve drops Robin off at school to talk about what's important in life.
People who like boobies,
Ew,
Robin.
gross.
Boobies.
Don't say boobies.
Nancy is in charge of the school paper and still wearing hideous clothes. Free my girl, please. And our not so little kids are in high school now, baby. We see Dustin and Mike in the Hellfire Club, which is a club for Dungeons and Dragons. Lucas is also in that club, but he's kind of stuck in between two worlds, as he's in that club, but also, ooh, not to blow up your spot, a bench warmer on the basketball team. And Max, she's doing good. She's hanging in there. Didn't go through a traumatic event like seeing her step sibling die. No guilty feelings there. No therapy session. Oh, we're in therapy. Yeah. We were also introduced to some new characters this season, notably Miss Chrissy, who is a cheerleader, who is also dating the captain of the basketball team, Jason. And of course, the infamous and the fabulous Eddie Munson, who is in charge of the Hellfire Club. Joyce one day while working gets a mysterious package from Russia, and it includes a scary ass little Russian doll in it. Murray tells her to break it open, and when she does, there is a note saying that Hop is alive. Girl, I keep telling you, catch up. But in actual news, we find out that Chrissy is going through some shit. She's sitting in a bathroom stall and starts seeing visions of her worst enemy, her mother. We also see some visions of a grandfather clock that she doesn't seem to be too familiar with. It gets so bad to the point where she decides to meet up with none other than Eddie to buy some drugs to help calm herself down. Not to be a shipper, but they honestly have really cute chemistry, and who knows, maybe in another life. But with what Eddie provides Chrissy, she asks for something a little bit stronger, and they decide to meet up later in the night. Back at the high school, we see the championship basketball game where we finally get to see and hear the legendary Tammy Thompson. Let's hear it, girl. Robin, Steve has every right to bully you. I'm so sorry.
She does sound like a muppet. Oh my god, totally.
Hello? Who are you? Robin, we can work with this. So even though Max was invited to the game, we see her listening on the radio to the announcements and in her own way is supporting Lucas, you know, from very, very afar. But it is great that she was listening because she gets to hear that he scored the winning game point. Not too bad for a bench warmer. But we do get to see a bit of her home life. You know, after Billy died, the father did end up leaving. The mother now works 2 jobs and they moved into a trailer park. When outside feeding a dog, she sees none other than Chrissy and Eddie go into his trailer to complete their deal. This is where we see Chrissy have her final vision. That include things that have been very traumatic for her. Plus, oh. Who is that? I guess when I was introducing new characters, I should have included Thickums. I mean, Vecna. I am so sorry. But Vecna, yes, our villain of the season, preys on teenage minds. He takes over Chrissy's mind and we see exactly how his powers work. Not without hearing the infamous line, and you know the one.
Chrissy, wake up! I don't like this! Chrissy, wake up!
Chrissy did not, in fact, wake up. Our first death of the season. Gruesome, honestly. The police come to investigate the murder of Chrissy, but it's soon interrupted because it's spring break, baby. And guess what? Mike is coming to visit us in California. Let me retry that. Mike is coming to visit 11 in California.
Hey, how you doing?
Why is he so awkward? Like, is this the same kid that was saying I'll go crazy with you? What?
It's nothing. It's just this painting I've been working on. Cool.
No, dude, that pisses me off. Because, like, if it was no big deal and it was just a whatever painting, like, he would not have brought it to you, Mike, to show you first thing at the airport. The oblivious little being that you are. Oh my god. Will, I will look at your painting. Give it to me. This is actually a great time to state that the rest of this season is pretty much split into 3 plot lines. We have the Hawkins team plot, the California team plot, and the Russia team plot. I'm gonna try to make it as smooth as possible because honestly throughout the episodes they really intertwine with one another, so bear with me. But back in Hawkins, the death of Chrissy has people shook. It is all over the news and Nancy is triggered to her core, you know, because of her trauma with Barb. I told you, a bad bitch never dies. She pulls her twink assistant in and says, hey man, we're gonna go investigate. Max heads over to Dustin to tell him what she saw and how Eddie is involved in the case. He immediately knows something is wrong because Eddie would never commit such an act and is now determined to not only find him, since no one knows where he is, but to also clear his name. They quickly hijack the video rental store to find information and hints of where Eddie might be hiding. And Steve is not jealous at all.
Your new best friend Eddie, you think is cooler than me because he plays your nerdy game?
Yes.
Not at all. Back in California, Elle, Mike, and Will go roller skating and we find our best friend, Angela. Oh, what are you doing here? Angela sees that Elle's man is in town and decides it's her life mission to embarrass her. And oh boy, you know, she's really good at doing that. I'll give her 10s.
Wipe out!
But you know what? Not only does she do that, she says the most foul thing I have ever heard in a TV show. Like, it struck me to my core if you watched my videos from last season.
You'll just have to cry to your daddy instead. Oh wait, can't do that either.
She deserves jail. She deserves her bleach to ruin her hair and make it all fall out. She deserves death. Oh, that works too. Because you know what? Go around and find out. I'm supposed to feel bad? Because girl, I don't. You think you can say that to me on my spring break when my boyfriend is in town and not get whacked? Oh, you're funny. So you're also a part-time comedian. Noted. But you know what's not funny? Oh, we get arrested. Yeah, full fingerprints, profile, the whole 9 yards. We have a record. We failed our girl. She has a record. But it's okay because she quickly gets intercepted by Dr. Owens, remember him from season 2? And tells her that Hawkins is in terrible danger and that if she comes with him, she can get not only her superpowers back, but can help save her friends. And let me tell you, he's not lying about Hawkins. He's not exaggerating. Like, he's calling a spade a spade. Oh, and Nancy's little friend, Fred Benson, is starting to go through exactly what Chrissy was going through. He starts going through his visions, and we quickly find out that his trauma is associated with a very, very bad car accident. And soon after seeing that ass clock, it's night-night for Fred. And if you're counting at home, that's 2 down. While this is happening, we do see Nancy talking to Eddie's uncle, the man that he lives with that owns the trailer. Eddie's uncle tells Nancy about the story of Victor Creel, who he believes committed the crime, based on Chrissy's body matching the victims all the way back when Victor was still around. Which is why he's so surprised to see this, because as far as he is aware, Victor has been locked up in a mental institution. Because what happened was, allegedly, the story goes, Victor not only killed his family, but like tore their eyes out and disassembled their joints, basically matching what we see of the kids today. He thinks, maybe he escaped, maybe he got out and I'm not aware, but either way, it matches to those crimes way back when. Destin Squad finds Eddie, finally. Oh my god, I was getting stressed out. And they both explain what is happening. The squad fills him in on basically the last 3 seasons, and Eddie fills him in on what happened to Chrissy. They believe it is Vecna's curse, and they have to figure out a way to stop him. Meanwhile, in the most drawn out plot of the century over in Russia, Joyce and Murray head over to Russia with a literal bag of cash. And I believe the amount is like $40,000, which, Joyce, where the hell are you getting this money? And how did you get it on the airplane without them checking the bag and flagging it? I know security wasn't like how it was now, but that seems a little much. But anyway, they're taking the bag to Russia because Enzo, who is the guard that Hop has befriended and is helping him escape, has a middleman named Yuri who is going to help them complete the plan of rescuing Hopper. Yuri basically is in charge of flying, but here's the thing. He's a shady motherfucker. Do not trust Yuri. Nope. Do not drink his coffee, ma'am. Because not only does he do that, he turns in Hop and Enzo as well. And now they're both sitting their happy ass in jail. However, Joyce and Murray Uno reverse on him, take Yuri into custody after they crash his plane, don't ask, and create a plan to get in and save Hopper. We'll check back in and see how that plan goes in a second. Max and the gang break into the school and go into the counselor's office to look at Chrissy's files and Fred's files to see if there are basically any similar traits between the two, maybe something that could connect them together and why Vecna would be after them. As Max starts looking through the files though, she starts noticing that she has the same symptoms that they did. Bad headaches, bloody noses, and worst of all, we hear the ding of the grandfather clock, making us believe that Max is the next victim of Vecna's curse. And when doing the math of when their symptoms started to when they died, Max concludes she is dying the next day. So she spends the rest of her days writing letters to people that mean a lot to her. But honestly, the worst part of it all is having Steve drive her to the cemetery where we see her sit down in front of Billy's grave and read the letter that she wrote to him. Meanwhile, Robin and Nancy are scamming, and I love it.
Queen girl pussy boss.
They scam their way into talking to Victor Creel where they find out very valuable information about the day of the murders. You know, the one that Eddie's uncle was talking about. They found out it wasn't him that did it, but some other special force. Some other entity that completely and brutally murdered his family. And the only reason he wasn't murdered is because of the song that was playing when the attacks were happening. He heard, in his words, the voice of an angel. They conclude that Vecna couldn't get to him because he was listening to his favorite song. Similar to something that we have seen in the first season with Will listening to his favorite song. Weird. But more importantly, they get this information to Dustin right away. And thank God, because guess what? Max is fighting for her life. We see that she is totally under his control, and as the boys desperately try to figure out her favorite song, we cut back to Max, and now we're in Vecna's lair. He has us right where he wants us. The boys finally put on what is assumed to be Max's favorite song, a Kate Bush song. And the second that music starts playing, we see a portal open. An escape, really, back to real life. And at this moment, she has the choice to succumb to Vecna's curse, to succumb to the guilt and the depression in all the negative feelings that she has. Or she can fight for what she believes in and the people that she loves. She sees flashbacks of some of her greatest memories that we have seen take place over the seasons, and it gives her the strength to fight. She breaks free of his grip and runs towards the exit, and we see she narrowly makes it out alive. And as she comes down and they're holding her, she tells them, "I'm here." Meaning, this is the most present and the most alive she has been the entire season thus far. I love this scene so much. I think a lot of people hold this scene up to a really high standard. It's kind of like the scene of Stranger Things season 4, and for good reason. As someone who is of the mentally ill community, oh boy, did it speak to me. As someone who had just lost their great grandmother, like a week, I think, before the season premiered, did it speak to me? Wow. Thanks, Duffer Brothers. It did not hurt. But also, we do get this really cool shot of the California crew. They're escaping their house because the military is aware of their involvement with 11, and they want info and to seize them and blah, blah, blah. Girl, she ran up that hill. The California crew gets into Argyle's pizza van and takes the injured agent with them. He explains to them in his final breaths, pen, which they assume means like he's gonna write down information to Elle. You know, they're gonna find a way to get in contact with her. But alas, he dies literally right as they give him the pen. But as the older boys are burying the body, Mike thinks of something. He figures out that it wasn't writing with the pen that was the answer, it was what was inside the pen. And what was inside the pen? It was a number. They call the number in the middle of nowhere, basically, and find out that the number isn't to a person, but actually to a computer. Now, they are smart boys, okay? But computers and all that, like, that's a little bit out of their range. But they know somebody who could crack the code. Miss Susie. Yes, they travel all the way to like Utah. That sounds exhausting and expensive. That's a lot of gas. But yeah, they travel all the way to Susie and see her crazy ass household, conduct a lie to cover up exactly what and who they are calling, and get the coordinates of the Nina Project, aka where 11 is. But Hawkins is in disarray while this is happening, by the way. After the events of season 3 with the mall and the deaths of so many teenagers and people, a lot of people in Hawkins were starting to believe that they were cursed, and the conspiracy theories and the rising fear of Satanism took over. And right now, with the current deaths and things that were happening, I fear they needed somebody to blame, and the easiest person for that was going to be Eddie Munson, again in charge of the Hellfire Club, which we learned earlier in the episodes that people associated Dungeons and Dragons with Satanism, because why the hell not? So they think once they catch him, Hawkins will become the nice, normal, safe town that they know and love. The main guy behind this mission is none other than Christy's boyfriend, Jason. Now listen, I don't like him. And not because of what he's doing, he just gives me like peaks in high school and then, you know, graduates, gets married young, has a bunch of kids, hates his life, blames it on the kids, blames it on the wife, maybe gets violent. I don't know. I just don't see a good future for him. I do understand why he's the way that he is during this season. I mean, obviously, he really loved Kirsty and doesn't want anything else to happen, but like, he's kind of doing the most.
That's enough.
I agree, I've had enough. Last night I saw things I can't explain.
Go out.
Go out? I see he's taking a step down from Max.
Like, sit down. You are not in charge. Who gave you the microphone? Back with our crew, they are trying to understand Vecna more and understand that whatever information that they need is going to be tied back to the Krill house. They go back and investigate and find out that there is a strange power surge in the house. And as we have learned from previous seasons, specifically season 1, the Upside Down can communicate with our world using the lights. They follow it up to the attic of the house, and we soon discover that this is where Vecna hides in the Upside Down when he is attacking. Not only is he attacking, but he has great timing, because his attack happens when Jason and his friends are closing in on Eddie. They find out where he's hiding. Eddie tries to run away in a boat. He's halfway on the water when Jason and Patrick find him. They are unfortunately very athletic, so it's easy to catch up. But here's the thing. Patrick has been hit with Vecna's curse. We saw the usual signs with him: headache, bloody nose, and of course our favorite ass clock right before you die. So now with Jason being there and Eddie being there, Jason believes he now is an eyewitness to the situation, because how else, how in the hell does Patrick start floating in the air if Satan is not involved. Like, again, I understand his logic. I get where he's coming from. I just don't like him. And while this is happening, I should mention some of the love aspects that are going on. They're setting up Lucas and Max to get back together, which I'm really happy about. I think they're probably one of my favorite relationships in the show. I don't know, there's just something about them that's just fun. You know, it's not like hard to watch them. It's not miserable. It's not tiring. Free me from love triangles. Yes, we are forcing the Nancy Steve narrative once again because right now Nancy and Jonathan are very far apart. There's a little bit of distance, a little bit of complicated feelings as they're getting ready to go to college, and Steve has become a better guy, so it's like maybe we should try that again. I don't know who wanted that in the writing room, but
no one asked.
More importantly, though, when all this is happening, Elle is going through the Nina project. And now I wrote down a lot of this part because it's so much to explain and I want to make sure I get it all. So don't mind me reading. If you see me kind of mind your business. Thank you. All right. So basically, the Nina project is what will help 11 get her powers back. It consists of her sitting in a sensory deprivation tank and reliving memories of the time that she spent in the Hawkins lab through security footage that our favorite Papa has kept all these years. Yes, everyone, give it up. He's back. Yay. But, you know, as much as I hate this guy, we kind of need him right now. So, like, I'm quiet. So the thing though about this project, it's not a one-time go at it, you're done, powers back, woo, let's save the day. This is something that happens throughout multiple sessions, but for the sake of this video, let me just give you the rundown. 11, as we know, was taken away from her mother at birth and put in the lab to harness her powers and become a super weapon against the Russians. We see up to and probably over 20 kids, honestly, that Brenner is experimenting on, who all kind of have different abilities. 11, being one of the maybe slower developing kids at the beginning, is of course a part of the bunch. And she's also super small and she gets picked on constantly and is not really well liked by the other kids, if I'm being honest. We see this worker, with gray hair by the way, take a special interest in 11 and tries to become her friend, stating that he knows what it feels like to be ostracized and not understood by others. They quickly become friends to the point where during a challenge, he gives 11 tips on how to overcome her bully and defeat him. Papa, oh, he did not like that. And he punishes him by shocking him repeatedly. The worker then fills her in on what's going on with the bullies as they have attacked her before, but girl, they plan on doing it again, and this time they plan on killing her. And the worst part of it all, Papa wants it to happen. They make a plan to escape the lab using the same pathway that we see the hospital gown torn at in season 1, by the way. But it's a plan that 11 assumes includes him coming with her. But he shows her that that is not possible, as Papa has put in a device in his neck that would let him know where he is at, therefore not making it possible for 11 to ever escape. She tells him, I can take it out. And honestly, she so generously does. Immediately they get found by guards and cornered when suddenly this man turns around and starts whipping ass, breaking necks, and throwing people around like they're rag dolls. It is here that we find out that this man, ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, he is no simple man, he is no simple employee, but he was actually the first person that Papa has ever experimented on. He was number 1. Back in Hawkins, the gang meet up with Eddie and tell him it is more important now than ever that he stays hidden because he has officially and publicly been made suspect number 1 in this case. Ooh, it's a bad day to be Eddie. Ooh, As much as we want to clear his name, the main priority though is stopping Vecna. But the only way to do that is to get to the Upside Down. But here's the thing. 11 closed the gate in season 2. Joyce and Hop closed the gate in season 3. Where the hell are we gonna find a gate? Here's the thing. Dustin, our favorite little explorer, has been pouting because he wanted to lead everyone to where Eddie was hiding. They found the location. He said, I got the compass, don't worry, and actually started leading them in the wrong direction. Steve finds out and he's like, oh, lovers, what is it? Make out rock or whatever? Oh, I know where that's at. I invented it. Okay, Steve. He did know where it was at, so I'll give that to him. But Dustin was not wrong either, because this compass is because as we have learned, the only thing that can mess with the compass is a power that is stronger, a magnetic force that is going to lead them to that. And what is that? A gate. They follow the lead of the compass and find themselves at Lover's Lake, the murder site of Patrick, in case you forgot. The big kids row out to the middle of the lake and figure the gate must be somewhere underwater. Steve heroically takes his shirt off.
Let me see.
and heads down to where the gate is, but not without impending danger. It's Stranger Things. Hello. We can't have anything easy. Because as he goes up and tells the crew that there's a baby gate down there, he instantly gets pulled back down through the gate and starts getting mauled by these bats. The older kids dive in, go through the gate, and save Steve's ass. I was really hoping you wouldn't get hurt. You're 4 for 4. Now, I need you to get beaten up in season 5. I need you to have a perfect record if that's where we're going. Back on land, Dustin, Max, and Lucas get caught by the police and taken back home for questioning, as now the parents are super scared of the possible involvement with Eddie and the murders.
You're lucky you didn't get shot. Threaten them with a little jail time. Maybe that'll loosen their lips.
Okay.
Thanks, Ted. I hope you're enjoying your police, Ted. What happened to ACAB, Ted? The kids also established that Vecna, Demogorgon, and the Mind Flayer are all connected, with the Mind Flayer being the main kahuna of the whole operation.
The Demogorgon was just his foot soldier. Vecna's his 5-star general.
Now, I will admit, I forgot this explanation. And on rewatch, I thought to myself, they wouldn't just put that in for no reason. Like, they're telling us that as powerful and scary as Vecna is, do not forget that bitch from season 2. The teens go to the Wheelers' house to get the guns that Nancy has in her room for protection, only to find out that they aren't there. In fact, a lot of the room is different and even contains the notes that Steve and Nancy were studying with back in season 1. In fact, wait a minute, the upside down is stuck on the day that Will disappeared. Weird. The gangs make contact with each other through the lights and devise a plan on how to get out. They decide to bike to Eddie's trailer in both realms to meet up and further their Vecna plans, and we get the sick shot. I said it! It might be a little corny every time they go upside down, but I eat it up. I do. I eat it up. But we also get to see them flipping in and out of the different realms, which me personally, I just thought it was cool. Like, it was a nice development on something that we're kind of more familiar with already, but we've never seen it like so plain like that. But just as it's Nancy's turn to flip herself right side up, she starts falling not into the trailer, but into the pool that Barb died in. I'm telling you. They throw her carcass everywhere, but honestly, it makes sense. Nancy is so traumatized from this event, I'm surprised Vecna hasn't gotten to her sooner. But he doesn't just show Nancy Barb and his lair. He shows her his entire life story. Vecna is not just the psychotic demon from hell, but he is also the son of Victor Krill, and his name is Henry, and he has always been odd. And so when his parents came into money and in the hopes of new scenery helping Henry, they moved into this beautiful house and they tried to live the perfect life, okay, the picturesque family. But we see here that Henry doesn't believe in that life and wants more, and we see him practicing his powers on animals and eventually his parents, giving them illusions of traumatizing things or things that they don't like, until the fateful night that he killed the whole family. Victor was and is, in fact, innocent. After the murder of the family, Brenner took in Henry to harness his power, but eventually it turned into a situation that was far too gone, and plus, he had other kids coming in. So he puts a chip into Henry to stop him from using his powers, and that leads him to becoming who we know him as, the worker that saved 11. Oh, and he also killed all the other kids in the lab. Did I mention that yet? He tells Eleven that he and her can rule the dimension, and she, like the diva that she is, says no. So they have an all-out battle, and her being the little badass that she is, she whips his ass up to the wall and whoosh, boom, bye-bye. She sends Henry, 001, like whatever you want to call him. She sends him to not the upside down, okay? I believe they call this the X dimension. Correct me if I'm wrong, where he finds familiar creatures. Now, I'm making this well known because the actors and the Duffer Brothers have been trying to, in their own way, say that where Vecna went is not the upside down. My theory is that they're setting us up to learn that Will set up the upside down, but that's just a theory. Meanwhile, over in Russia, Joyce, Murray, and Yuri make it into the jail successfully. They see that the Russians are sacrificing inmates to the Demogorgons, because why the hell not? But we see that Enzo and Hopper are next to fight it, and thankfully, after a whole long battle, a whole situation, they are successful at it, and we see the reunion of Hop and Joyce, my parents. Hell yeah. And not only that, they get to have a little sexy time. Oh my god, the buildups from all the seasons. Wait. But of course it doesn't last long. We get interrupted by a phone call. They understand the situation that's at hand. They have to go back into the jail so they can try to kill the Demodogs and help everybody. And really, this plot line was so dragged on. Wow. But this is also the point in the season where we get the legendary car scene. We finally get to see this mysterious painting that Will has made. And honestly, girl, it's gay as hell. It would have been less gay if he just wrote, "Hi Mike, please date me. Love, Will." But it is really sweet and shows Mike just how important he is to the party. He is the heart of the party. He is the one that leads everybody. He is in charge, and I would love to see that Mike come back in season 5. The gang also devise a plan on how they are going to get to the Upside Down and kill Vecna before it's too late. Because not only did he show Nancy his life story, but he basically showed them that after 4 kills, Hawkins is toast. So to take him down and complete their plan, they're gonna need weapons, they're gonna need supplies, they're gonna need to be prepared. And that starts by wearing Max's mask and stealing an RV, Eddie making a pass at Steve,
Harrington's got her. Don't you, big boy?
us going to the war store, getting talked down to by Jason,
Let go.
and the gay agenda being interrupted because Vicky has a stupid boyfriend. Boo! We get our weapons prepared though, we rewind that Kate Bush tape, and we are ready for battle. Back with our California crew, they make it just in time in Nevada to save Elle from the military coming in and trying to take her out. She flips over a helicopter, Papa dies, and we move on. But this finally, I know it's been a journey, right? I'm so tired of talking. So the plan of attack is step 1. Nancy, Steve, Robin, Eddie, and Dustin are going to the Upside Down. Team 1 will kill Vecna, while Team 2, Eddie and Dustin, distract the bats and gives the other team a chance. Because those bats are actually ruthless. God damn, they're rabid. Then we have Max, Lucas, and Erica in Vecna's house in the upside right. They're going to use Max as a lure for Vecna, so the older kids can get him when he's vulnerable, you know, when he's like plugged in and charging and shit. Lucas and Max have a cute moment and plan to go on a date when they are done with this. Future plans in the middle of a life or death battle. Oh, it's so over for me. Max lures Vecna successfully, and while he wants her in the worst memories, she decides that she is going to hide from him in her best memories. So that way it takes longer for him to get to her and possibly attack. But Lucas is there in case anything goes wrong, and he can put Kate Bush on, and she has an escape. Honestly, it's a really solid and great plan, except for the fact it doesn't account Jason storming in and with a gun. So yeah, he puts the gun on Lucas and is like, you need to wake her ass up or else I'm going to kill all of us, basically. And it's like, again, I get where he's coming from, but it's like, we're trying to fix the problem and you're making it worse. Go away. On top of that, we have the California crew now with Elle with the brilliant idea to piggyback. Basically, now that Elle has her powers back from Project Nina, she's going to go into Max's mind, piggyback off of her memories, and fight Vecna from there. It does take a second for 11 to find Max, but when she does, she goes full attack mode. And so does Max. At least she tried. We then get this epic battle scene with one of the best remixes I have ever heard. Okay, it's a remix of Kate Bush and the Stranger Things theme song. I can't play it here because Netflix always wants to take my rent away from me, but I definitely suggest you go and listen to it. We have Nancy being a badass with her gun. I don't know what it is about this shot with her little like her nose acting, it scratches the right part of my brain. But we have her shooting him, we have 11 doing her thing, Hop and the gang are fighting in Russia, and it seems like all is going to plan. Vecna gets shooed out the window, but unfortunately he manages to escape. And even more unfortunately, we see very quickly after Max, she got by Vecna. And then we know Max is gone by the confirmation of the grandfather clock. 1, 2, 3, 4. And Hawkins goes under attack. Oh, bye, Jason. I love that that's all he gets. Like, no little moment, no. Bye, see you later. I guess not. Oh, see, now it's not funny. Now we're not laughing. Eddie unfortunately dies as well. He famously says to the boys during their Dungeons and Dragons games, you know,
there is no shame in running. Don't try to be heroes.
And in the moment where he really needed to listen to himself, he decided to not run away, to not be a coward, and basically to sacrifice himself so the others had a chance at destroying Vecna.
I didn't run away this time, right?
And he dies in Dustin's arms. That is not gonna fuck him up in any way. I'm sure of it. But let's see, that's how many new characters being introduced just to die? Like, it really upsets me because I felt like Eddie was such a good fit for this group. Like, he really fit in with the older kids. He was like a role model to the younger ones, and Will never got to meet him. Will would have loved him. Can't have anything good in this house, I swear to God. 11 though, still being in like that little black mind place, sees Max dying and she's like, no, not on my watch. I think she literally goes,
No, you're not going.
and she uses her powers to start Max's heart back up, even though she did die. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough, as now Max is in a coma. And what is sitting next to her comified body? It's the little drawing of their date. And then on the other side, it's Lucas reading to her. Where is that cigarette? Maybe love is real. Our whole team is finally reunited back in Hawkins. Dustin tells Eddie's uncle what happened to him so he can grieve in peace. Vicky and her boyfriend are bones. Hallelujah. Will tells Mike, though, that now that he is in Hawkins, he can feel connected to Vecna and knows that he is still alive and hurting, and he's not going to stop. Not until he has taken everything and everyone. They have to kill him to ever stop it. We also get a whole reunion between Hop and 11, which is great because when you really think about it, how messed up. She made a whole like project out of him saying that he was her hero, and she doesn't even know that he's alive. And that, bitch, he stole your whole look. Bitch. Everyone is reuniting. It's very happy. It's very lovey. Like, even Mike and Hopper are hugging for a very long time in the background. But we do see Will touch his neck. He gets those very famous goosebumps, which means it's not over, babe. And it starts snowing. They walk out over to a field and all colors being taken away. Things are on fire. Hawkins is getting destroyed. And we are left with our heroes in pairs, which I do think is going to be very important to season 5. We have Jonathan and Nancy, Mike and Will, Hop and Joyce, and 11 standing so strong and so brave and so determined to finally put an end to all of this and bring peace once again to this little town of Hawkins in Indiana. Damn, I'm not gonna lie, this video is a lot longer than I was intending, but I hope you did enjoy it, and I hope it did fill in some of the gaps that, you know, maybe you didn't remember in the show, or you just wanted a refresher or someone to talk to about your favorite series ending. Hey, I'm your gal. And funny enough, with me saying all that, as far as covering the new season on this channel, don't count on it. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed watching season 4 with you guys. Those are probably some of my favorite videos on this channel. But for a lot of reasons, I don't want to, if I'm being honest. The biggest one, though, being I have so many fond memories of watching this show with my family. I remember, like, the second season, it was Halloween time, making pizzas, and season 3 we stayed up until midnight to watch it together. Like, we camped out in the living room, and I don't know, I just, with it being the last season, like, I just want to experience that with my family, especially with all the episodes dropping on holidays. Some of y'all know I've been trying to put me first a little bit more, and working on holidays, because these episodes are long as hell, it just doesn't sound like the vibe. Plus, like, politically, there's a lot of different reasons to not cover the new series. This video was my compromise. I knew whether I made videos or I didn't make videos, it was gonna piss somebody off, so I was like, you know what? This is what we're going to do. So I hope you're not upset, and if you are, sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. As far as theories for season 5, I guess I probably should start off with that. I don't think any of the main characters are going to die just because they have set this precedent of none of the characters dying. And if they were to start it in the last season, that's kind of f***ed up. I do think Holly is going to have a major plot point in the show because we do have a new character that is coming. And from my understanding, it is supposed to be like Holly's bully in school or something like that. I mean, we had a whole episode in season 1 named after Holly, so she's got to come in here somewhere, right? Going back to character deaths, the only one that I really fear for is Vicky. I low-key think Vicky is going to die. You know, because knowing Netflix, if they can't cancel the show involving a lesbian storyline, they sure as hell is gonna make sure there is no happy ending for them. So, Vicky, I fear you are bones. I think also with Will, I kind of talked about it earlier. I think Will created the Upside Down. I think we're gonna get confirmation of that. How much he is involved within that whole storyline. The love triangle, I think, honestly, low-key, I could see them doing it where Nancy isn't with either of them. Or maybe if they show like down the line, maybe Nancy and Jonathan get back together, Steve goes and like figures out himself. I think we've really seen him grown into himself, but he's still a little lost. Like he still has a little bit of that Steve the Hare Harrington ego with him. I would love to see him find a job that he really loves and feel super confident within himself. You know, like it doesn't always have to be around love. Low-key, and I mean low-key, I think if we kill Vecna and like the Upside Down's not a threat anymore, there's no reason for 11 to have her powers. So I think it will be the death of 11, but it will be the birth of Jane Hopper. But I don't know, that's just some of my theories. I would love to hear your guys's. I hope you're excited. I hope, again, you enjoyed this. I know it was very long, so like, Ashley, shut up. We get it. I will see you in the next one, and hopefully this room gets together soon. It's driving me crazy. Ha ha ha.